Hi, my name is Vera, and we are discussing Shark Tank. This is my daughter Maddie and my fiance Chris. And some examples of like the verbal communication that I saw was like the euphemism thing where they were like, they basically told him that his product sucked and he failed at it once because they were talking about Jones scones, and they were talking about how his product was too dry, and he was saying that that was on the contrary, that his product was actually really. He kind of argued with them a little bit, and he seemed a little butthurt about it. And then they were talking about the decline of his business and how he was saying that he was doing better, but they were actually like, well, no. When they looked at his business numbers and everything, it actually showed that his sales and stuff were declining. And so he got a little upset, and he was gesturing with his hands in the beginning about being excited about pitching his product, but then towards the end he was kind of pouty, and he was kind of defensive about
less
it.
animated.
Less animated.
Yeah. So basically, when he was hitting his sales speech, asking for money and talking about all the wonderful things about his product and how he's revolutionized the scone industry, and all the great things that he was doing, he was very animated. The nonverbal communication piece, was his facial expressions, his hand motions, his body language. He stood upright. He was confident. As the sharks, if you will, that would be the ones writing the checks, began to break down the problems with the business piece by piece, you saw him break down piece by piece. He became less animated. He didn't stand up as straight anymore. He was not as confident in his speech and began to use filler words like and long pauses and things along those, which led to his lack of confidence because he did not have an answer for why his business had failed and had left it to, well, I just need an influx of capital and this consultant and everything will be better again.
And then they got all upset about that, and he was like, well, team. And then they said, you know what was it when they were like saying I'm out, and they said, you're saying team and you want a consultant, and he said, no, I don't want a consultant, and then he started arguing with them again. So I kind of thought that was kind of funny.
Well, he was trying to basically say that the problem was when he first started to be very successful and he wanted to expand, and he was basically trying to backtrack, saying that was the time that he should have gone to somebody like the Shark Tank or some other investor to have given him an influx of capital in order to expand the right way. His excuse was he grew too fast, too quick, and lost oversight of the product and its quality. And by the time he realized his error, the damage had already been done. So the problem that I saw with his method, and what I've seen in my own business practices and in the consulting field that I worked in for years, was that the good news is that he knows what it feels like to fail. That's far more comfortable than the feeling of growth. And a lot of companies will stop doing what they're doing because it's uncomfortable and it's different and it's unlike what they've been doing because they're growing. And instead, they'll sit there and they'll just rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic, to use a cliche, when they're failing, and then start pointing fingers, when the business is done. Well, it was this person's fault, or it was this fault, or we did this wrong, or we did that wrong. Understanding that growth is painful is a key to one of the keys to running a successful organization.
What do you think, Maddie?
Well, I noticed at the beginning that he was like looking directly in their eyes. You know, like each and every person, he had really good eye contact. And then like as they started poking holes,